Remind me about Harmony Corinne.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm sure. I think he's extremely influential, no? And I think growing up, I love Harmony, and lucky to be able to call him a friend, but very much admire his work, all of his work, so that's a compliment.
Dad!
What are you doing here?
Mom!
Where's the dog? How did you get in here?
Jack told me to come in. I just wanted to come in and
Take that down.
Take off my dress!
Take that dress off!
my
How did you get in
Take
here?
off your dress!
No, take
Yes!
off my
You
dress!
Go ahead!
You go in the living room. I'm calling the police.
No, please, don't call the police. Don't call the police.
I will fuck you up.
No,
I'm gonna
don't call the
fuck you
police.
up.
Don't call the police. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Fuck you up.
Please don't call the police. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So where the idea of Pet Shop Days
Shop
come
Days.
from? Yes.
My friend, the lead actor, is the Jack Irving, wrote a script called Pet Shop Boys. Now it's called Pet Shop Days. We made the same mistake. He wrote the script 3 years ago. I received the script from him and read it and was very much excited about. I thought it was a crazy story, a wild adventure, and I thought it was very uncompromising. So I thought, I really. It took me a long time to convince him to let me direct the movie. But then he finally did, and we worked on the script and then got it ready. But it comes from, it's from his wild imagination, and the story was even crazier. And, but we had to definitely make things smaller, make it more doable. It was a very, very ambitious project. I think it still was. But I think the first thing that came was just, it had infinite potential of what directions it could go in.
So cities are very important in this movie. What's your relationship with New York, where you was born and grown up, and Mexico City?
So my relationship with New York, obviously, it's the place I come from, and I think it's a place I understand, and I knew the landscape I wanted to, the landscape I wanted to have in the film. So New York, until I read this script, I never thought that New York was going to be the first place where I'd direct a film. I had other ideas of different places, but when I read this, I thought that I understood the world and the different locations, and I could close my eyes and see how I wanted the movie to look. So, and how I wanted it to feel. So I thought that my experience in New York definitely allowed for me to kind of do that very instinctually. And then obviously Mexico City made sense to me because I've been living there for 4 years now, and I wanted to film there. The film originally took place in Colombia, and then I don't really know anything about Colombia, but I know about Mexico, and I know people in Mexico, filmmakers in Mexico, producers in Mexico, and it made a lot more sense to film in Mexico. We filmed in Cuernavaca, which is like an hour and a half outside of Mexico City.
Can you please tell something more about the executive production with Martin Scorsese?
Martin Scorsese, so obviously, the movie, a lot of the movies I was watching, whether it was Martin Scorsese, Abel Ferrara, different directors, Cassavetes, the movie, we were looking at, Taxi Driver obviously was a huge not a reference, but something that inspired me to make this film, a movie that really, affected me. And we sent the script, we sent the finished edit of the film to him and didn't know if he'd see her or not. And then one day I received a phone call from him, and we had a long conversation about the movie, and it sounded like he liked the movie. And basically at the end of that conversation, I rolled the dice and basically asked him, I said, would you want to be an executive producer on this film? I thought that would really help the life of the movie, having a stamp of approval like that. And I thought, might as well ask him, and he kindly accepted my offer. So, that's the situation. But then I have, other great producers, executive producers on the film, Jeremy O'Harris, Michelle Franco. I mean, we have an immense amount of support, really great people who can really, speak for the movie and, create some sort of an energy around it so that it can survive and so people can see it.
And let's talk about the actors like William Defoe or Peter Sarsgaard and all the rest. How did you convince them that this was the right movie for them? And how did you work with them on set?
So, obviously, I grew up around Willem and Emmanuel Signet because they work with my father. So they've known me since I'm a child. And I had shared, Willem had read an early draft of the script and enjoyed the script, but also helped me very much throughout the process and gave me notes and feedback about things he liked and things he didn't like. And I was really, convinced that I wanted him in the film, and we needed to find the moment where we could kind of get him in the movie, So we finally found a little pocket in his schedule where he could come and work for a couple days, and that was great because it also helped the movie happen. A lot of people, when you have names like that in a movie, it makes the movie, people are more interested in getting behind the movie.
And I can add something that is in the movie that is going to win the Golden Lion this year, I think.
Which one?
Poor Things.
Oh, yeah. Incredible. I saw it yesterday.
That's incredible.
I love that movie. And then, so the similar situation with Emmanuelle when I reached out to her. And she read the script and she liked it, and I asked her if she would do it. So we had to find something. But then everyone else, Maribel, Jordy, Peter. I had met Peter through Michelle Franco working on Memory, the movie that's playing here in the main competition, with Jessica Chastain and Peter Sarsgaard. And we became friends. And then I sent him the script and I said, there's this small part. I don't know if you're really interested.
So it was friendly while you were directing them. And I know.
No. The relationship when I was directing, they're all professionals. So they come and they show up and they know exactly what they're doing. So it made my life a lot easier as a director. I mean, it was amazing because there was also room to play. They know how to give you that and give you that. They know how to change things around. So they're very prepared, and everyone came with the best attitude, and things were working. It was very, very fluid. I mean, I hope my experiences with actors continue to be like the one I had on this movie, because, I can't say anything negative about it. It was just a positive experience all around.
How much your father's work influenced your creative work, your creative ideas, and what do you think about your decision to join cinematic world?
Well, he's extremely supportive about that, and would never, would always want me to do whatever I want to do, and I think he believes in me as a filmmaker. So he's extremely supportive, always has been, about following my dreams and doing, and I love his movies. I mean, I think consciously I love his movies. Subconsciously, I'm sure that I'm doing what I do now because I was around him and I saw, I got to have that dialogue and speak to someone who was doing, and see that it was real, it was close, and it was something that was tangible. So I think that was really important for me, and I think that it definitely probably shaped me as a filmmaker. I think that he definitely inspired me to do that. I love his films, and he's been extremely supportive. I think the experience of him being a filmmaker was very positive for me and allowed me to kind of also follow through. I think it was supportive more than anything.
And what about your aesthetic choice in this particular movie? I just thought about some 80s style movies, especially in the beginning, with the skyscrapers and things like that.
Yeah.
Your references with...
Well, I think we wanted it to feel like a timeless movie. I'm not interested in making something that's, completely accurate of the time. I'd rather create something that's more of a fantasy of New York. So obviously you think of movies like King of New York, Bad Lieutenant, Midnight Cowboy, Taxi Driver. The list goes on of movies that take place in New York that I loved. I think Eyes Wide Shut, a bunch of movies I like, but I also wanted to figure out a way to create a original version of New York, which I think that having Mexico come in throughout the movie makes it more peculiar and more like something we haven't seen before, because obviously New York has been filmed a million times, so to do something original there, I think if it's original and it's an original story in New York, that's an accomplishment in of itself.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.